Limba Chicken Shamin, Mokgethwa, AKMK, and a whole bunch of other AKAs. The Sobering Podcast Season 5 episode.
Something.
Nah, 6. Ever heard? Yeah, 6.
Yo, man.
Yeah, episode 6, and it's a special one. But yeah, you see what's going on.
You see the vibes. It's Big Fred, aka Young Male Swaggy, not all of boom. What up? Kitso. Today we got a mega special guest. This is a first for Sobering, right?
This is definitely a first.
Second. Is this the second?
Who believe is international?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. This is the second, but this is the first international artist.
Yeah.
And it's beyond an honor, man. Like this, usually I have like the grand intros, but this time I can't even put into words.
Yeah, I had a loss for words.
I'm at a loss, literally. I'm at a loss for words. You know what I mean? It's crazy things like we kicking it, we just talking.
Yeah.
But he don't know.
He don't know
how much
really
of a
know.
fan. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm not ashamed to be like, yo, huge fan of his work, huge fan of his music, huge fan of his writing, huge fan of the steez. I mean,
huge fan of the crew.
Bro. Like,
you know?
it's beyond like, yo,
And
like I
that's
said,
since even like before Orange Soda, you were in it,
bruh. I'm kids these
even
days,
before.
bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God, are you serious? Wow.
Don't harsh my bro. I used to, bro, knock my head off to Don't Harsh My
that's
Mellow,
crazy.
bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yo,
Damn,
man.
that's amazing, bro. But you know what? I'm low key. I get it because just from sitting and talking to you guys earlier, I was like, yo, these niggas really, really know hip hop. I'm like, these niggas really, really know music. You know, I haven't been in South Africa long. You know,
Yeah.
I've been here like a week, and I've been like pretty much, you know what I mean, low key, like not with a lot of people. You know what I mean? So it's like I didn't know. Like hearing you guys talk about hip hop is my first introduction to being like, oh shit, okay, so the hip hop heads is really here. You know what I mean? Like people with a deep, like referential knowledge. You know what I mean? Of the music.
I appreciate that.
Yo,
That's
man.
a compliment.
No, I appreciate y'all, man. That's crazy because, you know, when I came in the dressing room today and like, you know, y'all going on, niggas talking about Volume 2 versus like,
Oh yeah, this was
you
big.
know, Life
Yeah.
at Time, like, you know what I mean? Shit that's not, you know what I mean? You gotta be ahead to really know it. I'm like, damn, these niggas really know their shit. Not knowing that you guys had a podcast about knowing your shit probably that I was gonna come talk to you on. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I get it now.
Yeah, bro. But yo, man, like, welcome to the show. It's called The Sobering. We the Sobering Podcast, and it's mainly about local and documenting local hip hop. You know what I mean? But as soon as somebody from abroad touches local shores, we definitely delve into that deeper. You know?
Yeah, thank y'all for having me, man.
Yo, bro.
And it's crazy. You was rocking with the kids these days, man. We was having fun doing that. Don't Harsh My Mellow, that was one of my favorite ones, man. Yo, you should have seen when we would perform that shit in high school, it was like, you know, it was definitely crazy. I seen many kids get like kicked in the face from crowd surfs.
It was like, bro, like, but when you hear that scream, when you hear that, shut the fuck up, you're like, bruh.
You know, it's crazy scales.
It goes
like
quiet, then there's a crescendo. Man.
I gotta do a song like that. I ain't gonna lie. That format of song when you go from like very quiet, you know what I mean, to extremely intense, and then go back down. It's like it sets you up for your best performances. You know what I mean? Because you get a moment in between it. You know what I mean? To like, and the thing that was cool about kids these days was like the musicality. You know what I'm saying? So it's like even in a record like that, which, you know, that was where I wanted to go with the band. And what we separately wanted to do was a big source of dispute. You know what I mean? I was into that. I was listening to a lot of like Rage Against the Machine and you know what I mean? I was on that type of time. And then like, you know, some of the other people in the band were like more into like some like mellow bluesy stuff, and I wasn't feeling mellowy bluesy no more. I was like,
that's crazy because even on the mellow blues shit, you'd come through.
You were
I was having
nice,
fun.
yeah.
I wasn't feeling mellow and bluesy anymore. I was like, yo, we should do some shit like this. Don't hush my mellow shit. And you know, some of them was over that, but you know what I'm saying? What I was gonna say is that like the musicality of that shit was like, even though, you know, a song like that, when it hit its crescendo peak, it's like kind of wall of sound-ish, you know what I mean? And just like high energy, basically.
Yeah.
But underneath it, it's like the scales motherfuckers was playing was like, it was some jazz shit, you know what I mean? It was like, it was like Phrygian scales and like
Sound like people were improvising even.
a lot of improvisation in that band. And you know, that band kind of like, you know, it played a big role in the carving of like the Chicago sound that we were a part of, you know what I'm saying? From my music to Chance music and Peter Cottontail and, you know, even people like Saba and, you know what I mean? And No Name.
Shout out to No Name.
You know what I mean? Because like the band Kizzy's Days, it was like, you know, we kind of saw through that what it could be like to combine our words with like deep musicality. You know what I mean? Like people don't even know that. So my best friend from childhood, who was the person that brought me in the band, his name's Nico Segal. He plays trumpet. He played in the band, and then, you know, he's been playing with Chance for a long time. Nico, at the same time, he had a band with No Name, or he had a group with No Name. He played the trumpet in Kizzy's Days, but he had a group with No Name and another friend of ours named Malcolm, where they were doing, it was a spoken word group. You know what I mean? It was called Dat Scat. So it's like we'd be doing shows, and this was during the same time as Kizzy's Days, but it was like, it'd be like might be like a Save Money show, and I'd be rapping, Chance to be rapping, and then Nico would do like, he had a whole different thing. Him and No Name had the group. You know what I mean? So we was just having fun in Chicago, man.
Bro, like, yo, man. Like I said, that was a beautiful project. I even love the cover art, the animation.
Oh yeah, man! I made that on Photoshop. You know what I mean?
Oh, you even made it?
Yeah. Like I came up with the name. I used to make the cover art.
Yeah.
And like the posters, and I was into like collages and, you know what I mean? Like messing around with Photoshop, forging documents as well.
Okay. All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Holla at me, anybody need a document forged?
You need a doctor's letter, you know what I mean? I know that was big in Boston.
Very
too,
easy. I'll have you know. I can make them bitches on the spot.
Yeah. Damn. And then so the split happened, but it seemed like it weighed a lot on you. The way that you documented, even in the raps. I mean, when you said you split like a C-section, you know, you felt like a C-section.
Yeah.
So what was it? Because when people like break up, especially when it's something like young as like in high school, they just chalk it up to maybe growth, or what made it so heavy on you that like, yo, man, this shit got me in another way.
It's so cool, man. I feel like y'all tricked me. I didn't know I was gonna come in here and talk to people that like knew about me and shit.
Welcome to the Sober. Welcome to the Sober.
That's tight. I had no clue.
Because we never heard you like address the breakup, like just in
you know,
form properly.
Yeah, that the breakup of Kizzy's Days hurt me so badly for a number of reasons. Perhaps the first and foremost being that I was so loyal to the group and I had foregone so many opportunities for myself in the interest of the group. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I'm fresh out of high school at this point in time. And, you know, when we were in high school, I remember No ID flew into Chicago to come see us. This is probably when we're 16 or 17. So I had done a solo mixtape as well. And my solo mixtape was crazy.
I love that tape, brother. You had the New Era cap on. You were like 16, right?
Yeah, I was really rapping. You know, I was really rapping. And, you know, I had people like No ID, somebody I idolize, you know what I mean? Come to the city to come see us, and me being like, I'm in the group, you know what I mean? That's this. Even though I was already doing my thing alone before and during the group, it was like I was just very loyal to the group. And you know, as kids will be, it's like people would tell me, oh, you're an 8-person band. You know what I mean? This is not gonna work. You know what I mean? But me, I don't, you know, I'm not knowing any better, and I'm just a loyal person. So I was very hurt because I told No ID, I can't do it with you. I can't sign with, even though No ID was like, man, fuck it. I'll sign the whole group just because I want to fuck with you. Damn. You know? And I was like, you know, my group, they didn't want to do it because No ID was a hip hop guy, and they didn't really know, you know. And it's like, you know, it's like some white kids that were more on the bluesy rock side of things. You know what I mean? And there was always a tension of like, you know, it was a leaderless group, but people looked at me as the de facto leader because I was the MC. You know what I'm saying? And so I passed up a lot of shit and like told motherfuckers, you know what? I can't sign with you, No ID, my idol, because my group doesn't want to do it, you know, and I'm loyal to the group. And then Warner Brothers comes, you know what I mean? And then it's Coach K. People don't even know that. Coach K was Coach K was kind of managing the group when I was in high school. Again, because Coach K was fucking. Well, Coach K did really fuck with the group, but really Coach K was fucking with me. That came to me through I think
Where
Mickey.
Coach K from?
From Atlanta. You know what I mean? And so Coach K walked us into multiple rooms, like walked us into Warner Brothers, walked us into multiple places. I told everybody, I can't do it unless you bring the group. I told everybody that. You know what I mean? And so then when the group got to a point where, you know, the disagreements between me, it was like really between me and Liam, who was the white guy, played the guitar and sang, you know what I mean? And we all cool now, like none of this is a thing. But at that point in time, my mentality was like, so he was resentful because it was like he really started the band, you know what I mean? And then Nico brought me in, you know, and you know, it's like I had a whole clique of niggas. I had Save Money, you know what I mean? So I got a whole army that's like selling our CDs, and I got a plan, and we're gonna sell our tickets like this, and so we were selling out, you know, big boy venues when we was in high school, you know, 1,500 people, and you know what I mean, we in high school. And so the resentment grew because it was a leaderless group, but people were looking at me like, oh, you're the front man. You know what I mean? But it was a group without a front man. So it's like they literally used to take verses of mine off of songs to add a solo on because everybody was supposed to get their moment. You know what I mean? And so when it ended up being like that, and it's like the tension between he and I had risen so much to the point where he told me that like I had to leave the group or something by like April, whatever the date was.
Snap.
You know,
ultimatum.
And so I told him, I told him, nigga, I made the name of this band. And if I leave the band is done. The band disbands. The band is done. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, okay, so that's what we got to do then. So we're like, all right, the band is going to end on this date. We was on tour. We had shows or something going. And I'm like, the band's going to end on this date because I'm not just going to do all this work for this group and then, you know what I mean, you're going to like somehow kick me out. You know what I mean? I'm confused. So I was like, all right, the band's going to be over. So the band was over. So look, the next day, we were such kids, man. The next day after our scheduled, that's like when kids be like, yeah, meet me outside at the playground at 5 p.m. You know, everyone call it after school. You know? And so the next day, after the band broke up, I get a call from another motherfucker that was in the band telling me that the whole band, maybe with the exception of one person, that Liam started a new band the next day, and the whole band was in the new band.
And a different name.
Except,
Last 44.
The whole band was in the new band, obviously, except me. You know what I mean? The next damn day. So hell yeah, I was hella hurt, bro, because I was so, in my mind, I was so loyal. You know what I mean? That's the way I saw it. I was like, damn, bro, I passed up fucking with No ID, fucking with Coach K, all this shit because I was loyal to y'all niggas. And when it came down to it, y'all niggas ain't had no loyalty to me.
Were they aware of what you were passing up?
Hell yeah, they knew.
Sure.
But it's like, we was all kids, and it's like, at the end of the day, it's like me, I'm a hectic fucking person too. You know what I mean? And especially at that age, you know what I mean, being in high school, it's like I was really wild. So things that wouldn't have even registered to me, I could see why the resentment existed. You know what I mean? Because like I was real crazy. You know what I mean? And it's like I say and do ridiculous motherfucking things that a nigga would build. I could completely see how the nigga built the case, and it's like, man, I can't deal with this nigga no more. Man, I didn't know I was signing up for this shit. Because it's like it was completely different fucking worlds. These are kids like now. Me and Nico, who played the trumpet, we was in the same type of wave. He existed in both worlds, and then me and Sticks, who played the drums, who now plays in Chance's band. You know what I mean? We'd be on the same wavelength. But for kids like Liam, who was the guy that, played the guitar and sang, and then Macy, she played the piano and sang, and the homie Lane, who played the bass. It was like, these are like band camp, music school kids. Here I'm coming into your mama house, shitty drunk, you know what I mean, with a whole bunch of weed, selling it, just ran away from the police on the way to get here. The police probably spinning the block looking for me right now. I'm in your backyard, you know what I mean, like getting in fights, knocking people out, like getting in literal brawls, you know what I mean, while we're on tour, bringing 10 of my niggas on tour with us, and getting in brawls in small towns and shit, and then coming back, everybody face bloody. Niggas like, yeah, we finna go find them niggas right now. You know what I mean? You get kicked out the hotel, and these are literal like band camp, music, school, jazz musician, white kids that ain't think they were signing up for that shit.
You didn't want the smoke at all.
Long-winded way to say I was hurt though, because I put so much in, and it's like, and it was like kind of a pattern for me in my life of like being extremely loyal to a fault at times, where it's like I'll do so much for people, not expecting much in return, and then be very hurt when it's like those people in my eyes betray me. You know what I mean?
But I just want to know, when you were in the group and everybody thought that you were the leader, why didn't you just assume that role of being the leader?
I mean, because the whole thing about the band was that it was decidedly a frontman-less band. You know what I mean? Now, did I know that like I was the nigga bringing people to the situation? I knew that, you know what I mean? Yeah. But just out of respect for everybody and like the way that we had decided to do this shit, which was a very childish way to do it as well, and I've learned that like, as far as like groups and bands go, this shit works best when you got a leader and like structure. And a structure and an agenda. You know what I mean? But just I'm also like I'm a humble person as well. You know what I mean? True. And like I said, loyal. And so my loyalty to the rest of the band was like, I'm not trying to be above y'all. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to I believe in what we have together. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously I believe in what I have apart from this situation, but in this situation I believe in what we got together. And I was thinking about like the Roots, and you know what I mean? Like, the Roots got Questlove, who is clearly the leader, but then also Black Thought is the MC though. You know what I mean? Black Thought is the one whose voice, whose ideas you hear manifested lyrically. You know what I mean? So it's like, who's looking at it in different ways like that? You know what I mean? I was fucked up when that shit happened.
I can imagine. Like we hear it, you know what I mean? Because you one of those artists that you tell your story through song a lot. You know what I mean? It's like there's so much that we know about you from from the lyrics, you know what I mean, from the music, you know. So that happens, and then I'm guessing there's like, at which point are you now sneaking into, is it Rolling Loud, or is it a festival? Then you're getting electrocuted and
Lollapalooza.
Lollapalooza, yeah.
That was while the band was still going. So that's when I was that's when I was 17, and I was 17 because the next year, the band, we played at Lollapalooza, did a huge fucking show. So we was on the side, like a smaller stage. Lollapalooza is a gigantic festival, though. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So even a small stage has the potential, the ability, because it was like, yo, when we did it, it was like these row of trees, it was probably 15,000 fucking kids, like, you know, packed. When I heard you guys speaking earlier, you're talking about varsity, you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it made me think about how we were in high school, because like a lot of artists don't go to college probably in America. You know what I mean? What we would call, what y'all call varsity is, I believe, what we call college.
Yeah,
or,
university,
you know what I mean? A lot of artists don't go to college in America. I definitely didn't. You know what I mean? Most of the people that I know that make music didn't, or at least quite a few of them. But that idea of having a built-in, fan base, that was everything that we did in high school. That was how we built that shit, was like, because there was a built-in, and not just our high school, but like all the high school kids. You know what I mean? That was our original foundational base. We were like, you know, if we can go every day of the week, you know, if we can go to Kenwood High School on Monday and go to Lane Tech High School on Tuesday and go, you know, to St. Ignatius, I think was one of them, you know, high school on Wednesday. That was how we trapped our shit. That was how we sold out our shows. That was how we built our profile. You know, just a couple of days ago, I think was the 9th anniversary of a mixtape that Chance did called 10 Day.
Yeah.
The 10 Day.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's 10 Day, that was the same time as Kids These Days, and that was the same thing we was doing with his shit and with our shit. So when the 10 Day was out, you would see all of us, you know what I mean? You would see me and Nico and Sticks from Kids These Days with Chance, you know, all us. We'd be going to all the different high schools, and we'd be selling CDs, selling tickets, you know what I mean? Selling posters, giving shit away too, just like freestyling. And then when we put out our shit, Chance would be with us. We'll be somewhere doing the same thing. Exactly.
Is 10 Day the suspension joint?
Yeah, that's the suspension.
When it was suspended.
Yeah.
It's 10 Day.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was just thinking about that shit because I was like, yo, the 10-day suspension, man, it was the best. You know what I mean? Yo, the 10-day suspension was
the lockdown.
It was the fucking best. Like, I remember one time I got a 10-day suspension right before Christmas break. You know what I mean? So
like
Christmas break,
Extension of the Christmas break.
Christmas break was already like damn near 3 weeks.
And it's cold.
I got a 10-day suspension.
So you got a month.
It's cold, but it's like, nigga is cracking. Like, nigga, I was off school for like a month plus.
Yeah.
You know, it was almost as long as a summer vacation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm hanging out, and I was probably at Chance School at that point in time. You know what I mean? I would just go hang out at the homie schools in the lunchroom and shit.
Damn, man. It's a different world.
It's a different world altogether.
That wouldn't happen here.
I don't think they do it anymore like that, though. I think they've been making the kids have in-school suspensions more. You know what I
That makes
mean?
more sense.
That seems a lot more conducive.
They would just cut us loose and set us to the streets.
Snap. So at this point, bro, like I know I'm going sort of chronologically, like, you know, from jump, and then
That's cool,
for me
though.
it was like I was thinking about it, like every J, not every J, but all of J's most important signees wanted to sign Vic.
Yeah.
So
I remember J. Cole.
J. Cole wanted to sign you at some point
Yeah.
as well.
J. Cole never tried to sign me. J. Cole just showed me love. You know what I mean? Took me
Yeah.
on tour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the way we heard it, we thought we were gonna be like the first signee to
Yeah,
Dreamville.
because like the way that, like I said, we hear it through songs. So
Yeah.
when you rapping about it on, I think it's that I'm that nigga. On I'm that nigga.
yeah.
And you talk about
Because
like
I remember I was in the hood and I
Yeah.
got the call from
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
driving through the hood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On 67th Street. And he's like, it's Jermaine. I'm like, Jermaine?
Yeah.
Why famous niggas be doing shit like that? Can somebody explain this to me?
Yeah, you tell us. What's your name?
Trying to act like regular people and shit.
It's crazy.
It's Victor.
So and then like so how did that go, and how did you maintain that relationship? How was that?
Man, yeah, so he called me, I went out on tour with him, like, I don't know if the internet tape was even out. It might have been right about to come out.
Yeah.
It either was...
It wasn't out because I'm that nigga's on internet tape.
Yeah.
And
You're right.
You're
right.
Us about that story,
Yeah, so he had me come out on tour with him like right before my shit came out. Or it might have came out while I was out there with him. We was trapping, man. It was like, it was me, my manager at the time, his name's Cody. Cam Obi, who is a producer, he made like Orange Soda, he made Cocoa Butter Kisses.
Beautiful.
He made a lot of shit. And I think it was Stephen Ponce. I feel like Stephen was DJing for me. I could be wrong, but I feel like it was definitely Stephen. And we was just packed up in the homies' car, man. Like he had like a little Lexus that he had caught a play on, and we was driving state to state in that motherfucking Lexus. You know what it was? Literally the night that we were leaving to go start that tour, we were in the studio up until the last fucking moment. Me and Poppy Beats making the final mixes and masters for the internet tape. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it definitely wasn't out when we started the shit. And then he's driving all goddamn night. Sometimes it'd be like, it might have even been it wasn't the first one, but sometimes it'd be like, we short on time, we ain't got no bus, we just in a car. I mean, packed up so tight that we might be a little bit behind. I remember this nigga was like, he had to hit it to get to Boston. So he's driving like 120 miles an hour. I don't know how fast that is in kilometers, but it's fast. It's like 40 to 60 miles above the speed limit. He's driving that when I fall asleep. I wake up, sunshine, the nigga still driving 60 above the speed limit. We got pulled over. 5 police cars came and surrounded us because they was like, any nigga driving this fast for this long is on some bullshit. They gave this nigga 6 tickets or some shit like that. That shit was crazy. I caught a case on that tour going into Canada. I had some drugs in my bag that I didn't even realize I had. I was just loose, They talking about, they pulled us over in Canada and they like, we finna search the car. I'm like, I ain't got nothing. Search that motherfucker then. Search it. They came back dangling that shit like, what's this? I'm like, goddamn.
What drugs were they?
It was mushrooms.
Shrooms.
Some goddamn shrooms. I'm like, damn, G, I'm finna catch a case over these little ass shrooms. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been able to travel internationally with ease since. But the tour was fucking amazing though. You know what I mean? It was like, I was super opener, so people weren't even in the motherfucking venue yet. I'm doing the most to try to get people to listen to me, running all through the goddamn aisles and shit. And the internet tape is already like extremely fast, like dense lyrics. So I'm like, I'm literally doing the most, but I was just geeked, you know what I mean? Being a teenager and like having, looked up to J. Cole for real and, being over there and just like, I remember playing him the internet tape like before it came out and shit. And him being like, there's a song on there called Holy Holy. Bro. That was the one that was what he really liked the most. And he was like, I like it when you slow that shit down a little bit, you know what I mean? And and that stuck with me. That was like one of my favorite. That was like my favorite joint on that. Anyway,
Yeah, I think a lot of people, man, when we listened, the joint was so. Yeah,
Damn.
that's a tearjerker
Yeah.
joint, man.
yeah, because Soul was really Soul was telling that story
Yo,
on there
about
too.
the Lori, bro. Oh my God, yo, man. When you think about it, even when you speak about like the homie that you lost on the joint as well, it's just like, bro, damn, like for a lot of people, like we see it in third person. You know what I mean? For some of us, like me, I wouldn't know what that sort of loss is like. So when you hear somebody express that pain, it hits different, you know what I mean? So I can only imagine when you guys, relaying it, how cathartic that is, bro.
Yeah, man. I write songs about Cam who passed and who I talked about in that shit all the time, because it was right around that age when, you know what I mean, when we lost him, and it was like he was very influential and important to me because he was the first person that really like put a vote of confidence in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was like 12 years old. So I was a graffiti kid. That's what I used to do before I even started rapping. I like, tagging, just like writing my name on shit. And so he reached out to me, man. It's like MySpace time. So Cam was probably my age now when he passed. But so I was a little kid. He was probably 10 years older than me. He reached out to me. He was like, man, I want you to be in my crew. It was a crew that was like big in my neighborhood called Jam Crew from the 90s. And so, I was geeked and, I started running around with them and just like, learning from them. And they would, teach me about like my big bro Doug. He teach me about like Dilla and shit. And, I'm trying to get my first little piece of pussy, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, this girl, she's saying this, that, and the third.
Vibes.
Niggas telling me, what to do, what not to do.
So you're the youngest in the crew.
I was very young. I was like 12. These guys were all in their 20s. You know what I mean?
Oh man, you guys living fast forward, bro.
Yeah,
It's even pre-teens, bro.
Yeah.
They was teaching me everything though, you know what I mean? It was just teaching me like, and it was like, I hear them talk about it now and they like, boy, you was already loose. So it's like, it didn't matter whether, you know what I mean, if we smoke around you or smoke with you or whatever. It's like, boy, you pulled up on us already smoking. You know what I mean? You had your own weed. You was, you know what I mean? But just the fact that like Cam, who I talk about in that song, Killer Cam, aka Dare, he just was the first motherfucker to be like to tell people like, yo, this kid is fresh. Like I wasn't rapping or nothing. He was just like, you just dope. You know what I mean? As a kid, I see something in you. You know what I'm saying? So when he got changed over, over some petty shit, like some little weed, like an ounce or something, you know what I mean? Got set up and robbed. That shit just fucked me up, you know what I mean? So it's like, I always put it in my music because that helped me to come to terms with it, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, that was classic tape, by the way. Love that tape.
Man, I had fun with that one, man. It's like making that shit, it was strenuous too, though. You know what I mean? It was a lot of fun. It was also strenuous. I was on mad drugs, the mushrooms. That's what was going on. That's why I was tweaking like that.
Tweaking!
I was off all the mushrooms, It was like Chance was on the acid. I was off the mushrooms,
Yeah, because it was around about the same time. Like
it was the exact same time.
Yeah.
The acid rap just ended up coming out a little bit earlier because I was still in Kids These Days when I started making the internet shit. You know what I mean? I remember like I had never done none of that shit. And then I came to my manager's house one day and Chance pulled up and he had like the original beat for Cocoa Butter Kisses and like his verse and the hook. He was like, yo, I just started fucking with this. And then I ate mushrooms for the first time.
Yeah.
And I started writing my verse. And then, that was how that song came together. You know what I mean? But it's like in the process of it, I was doing it all the time. So it's like almost everything you hear on there was like, I was tripping. You know, so I started to feel like I needed the shrooms to be dope. You know, even though I had been rapping for years, and it was like I was already dope. You know what I mean? But I started to feel like I needed the drugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I know with shrooms that you normally advise like to take them in like long, like after a long time, you can't like do shrooms every day. It's not like
I just probably do that shit 100 times in like a year.
because apparently that shit can fry your brain, you know.
1,000% that shit can fry your brain. You know, but it's like, you know, with or without the drugs, I feel like the real, like the spirit of the shit was like I was using the music as I often have, and specifically in that project, to speak through the things that I was dealing with. You know, I felt a lot of fucked up pain from the band splitting, and how I felt, you know, betrayed about that. And, you know, that shit was all those things were putting me into a mental state. And so I was making, you know, some of that real happy music, you know, like Orange Soda and shit. It wasn't because I was like I was like in the happiest place. It was because I was trying to like speak it into existence almost. I was trying to manifest.
Los Angeles,
you know what I mean? I was trying to manifest.
Your Lovely Day was my get up joint, yo.
Yeah, I had fun with that.
Down on My Luck is off. That's off.
Oh, it was way after.
Way often. Not way, but like
Lovely Day. That was a fun one. I remember I woke up I definitely lived in my mom's house at that point in time. I was like, I used to make I still do make weird, but I like weird ass beats. You know what I mean? On the machine was how I made beats back then. So I wrote that song to like some super just like strange.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wrote it to some weird beat that I made, and then I took it to Peter Cottontail, and he made, you know what I mean? All that dope
Made it make
music.
sense.
You know?
Yeah,
Now,
man.
like with the storytelling and like when you're speaking through your pain, like I always ask myself, like you speak with so much conviction. In that moment, are you not reliving the painful moments?
Yeah, somebody asked me that the other day, you know.
Because it sounds so vivid. Like
it's like if you've ever spoken to a therapist, if you never have, you probably should.
Yeah.
That's something that's good for people. But it's more cathartic than like re-traumatized. And it's like when I'm doing music like that and I'm speaking, you know, through painful situations in my life, it really helps me to process it and to heal. You know what I mean? It helps me to heal more than it hurts me. When I'm able to, sometimes I can express things in a song that I can't express in conversation. You know what I mean? Okay. It's like I've never found the words or the fucking courage to be honest enough to be like, this is exactly what I'm feeling or what I'm thinking to somebody that I'm close to. You know what I mean? If I find it's more easy to be vulnerable and in the music, and that it helps me. You know what I mean?
Wow. Damn, man. So like the internet tape happens, right? There's also like some loose singles that happen as well. There's that joint, man. I forgot the way it looks like you're taking the acid through your ear or some ish.
Feel that.
I feel that.
Yeah, that was fun.
that was my joint.
I feel that.
And then I think
That's
I love that joint, man. Oh man, that was a beautiful time, bro. Like that.
Shout out to Smoker Ono.
Yeah, trust.
Smoker Ono did that joint.
That beat is fire, bro. I mean, the video. I think that's when.
That video was really good. Calmatic did that video.
Yeah, I love the video, bro. This was also during the time you had a Puma deal, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing some Puma shit.
I remember because you were rocking the joints then, and then I think after that, Down on My Luck happens.
Right.
Yeah. Which for me, it's like such a weird thing when I hear it from your lens, right? Because when Down on My Luck happens, also by far one of my favorite videos. Like that video,
he killed that shit.
That video,
shout out to Ben.
Phenomenal.
Just dope, man. It's so important to find the dope directors, man. You know what I mean? it's so good when a video can just like cement itself so that people will always remember that video and buy, you know, and the song, you know what I mean? But add more to the song. You know, the way that song came together was like, I was on tour with, I was about to go on tour with Disclosure. After, I think it was after like the J. Cole tour, maybe like, I might have went to Europe.
That's an odd pairing, hey?
I don't even know how
you guys on the same label?
Nah, it was just like...
Was it just of the strength of Down on My Luck?
No, it was before that.
Down on My Luck.
It was just like, you know, I don't know. Somebody put that together. Whatever, weird. You know? Yeah. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it, you know?
Yeah.
They're doing Good Rooms. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, but we should do a song that like, you know, makes sense with their vibe. And Stephen Pons, who produced the song, and you know, he was DJing for me, and he also did shit like You Mad, and he's done a lot of my songs.
You Mad, huh?
But yeah, Stephen, he has like the history on Chicago house music. You know what I'm saying? Like Chicago house music. A lot of people don't know house music is from Chicago.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that whole sound that we did on that song was like, I had originally wrote that melody and those words. Like I had wrote that shit to a whole different kind of music, to some weird music that my homies, the Blended Babies, made. Fuck with the Blended Babies.
Yeah, shout out Blended Babies.
Blended Babies really dope. I had originally wrote that to like a whole different beat. And then I was like, yeah, you know, we trying to figure out how to do something that makes sense in the Disclosure space. And then we was like, okay, we should tap into the Chicago house space. So then we had my guy Omas Keith from a group called Sarah come into the studio.
Shout out Sarah Creative.
That's my shit. Yeah,
you know what I mean? So Omas came to Chicago.
That's Arnold in them.
That's Taz Taz and Omas and
that's my shit, yeah.
Shad and I forget, but yeah, Mas came to Chicago, and yeah, you know that's how that came together. You know what I mean? It was like literally for that tour, and then it's like people have always told me like you should do some old house music, and I never really did, and I've kind of always wanted to, but I think maybe I never really did because after I did that, it's like then I start getting put in mad like electronic like EDM things, like EDM tours naturally, and like you know naturally. But I was like, nigga, I don't fuck with EDM like that.
Damn,
that's
bro.
so weird.
That's so weird because these people that take bags with Waka.
Yeah, I was about to say Waka and Pusha T.
You know what I mean? Like,
I definitely took some bags and like you know did some collaborations with people that I really do fuck with. But overall, it's like. You know what I mean?
But wait,
that just wasn't where my heart was.
Yeah, the type of house that he's speaking about and the stuff that Pusha and Waka were doing.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I know it's not the same, but you know what I mean? But it's like,
it's all
that
kind
world,
of,
you know what I mean?
In that world.
It's electro world.
It's electro dance music at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's run with that. Let's run with that. Cool. It's not.
What? It literally is.
No, it was.
I mean,
he's telling you the circle was.
No, never mind what he's saying, but you guys were saying. But it's cool. Like I said, let's run with that. It's cool. It's cool. I still don't think it's the same thing, but yeah, cool.
Yeah. So that's happening, and then you basically like not budging. You're not gonna make any more house. At the time.
I made some, man, but I wasn't in love with it. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, I made some. You know what I'm saying? But for me, man, it's difficult because it's like when I don't love music, it's hard for me to put it out. You know what I mean? Like, so I've had so much music that may have never, you know, been released because at the time, you know, I didn't feel like I loved it. You know what I mean? Some of it was great, some of it was alright, you know what I mean? But I didn't really want to go in a house direction really though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then that joint
But then people really love that song.
joint
you know,
was
and
huge.
and then that song, you know, was like what got me to a lot of the labels, and that was the song that funny enough that Jay-Z actually really connected with.
Yeah.
You know, I ended up going over there. I was thinking today, man. I was actually talking to Gibson today about like
Shout out to Gibson.
Shout out to Gibson.
about because I see parallels between Chicago house music and I'm a piano music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some similarities there. There's differences for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the basic principles, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
overlap. And I was wondering, man, I was like thinking like, man, what if there's a way to do something that lives in the middle, that lives in the middle of those sounds, you know what I'm saying? Something that's Chicago with the house shit, but then, you know, maybe throw one of the I'm a piano guys on it, or throw one of them characteristic sounds.
That sounds like a
in
vibe
the
Sounds
already.
beat.
lit, man. You
I
should
feel
do
like
that.
it could be
Sounds like
done. You know what I mean?
Already, man. Get it
Yo,
done.
man.
Get it done, bro.
Do that, man. Do that, bro.
You here?
Yeah.
No, because dance music is definitely very global.
Yeah.
I mean, you're bound to get remnants of like the Chicago house music because that's basically where we got it from.
Yeah. It's the origin, you know?
It's basically the origin, like even
Yeah.
Kwaito.
Yeah.
They used to slow down like your Chicago house,
Yeah.
and then that's Kwaito. Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
that's crazy.
and piano and Kwaito, very similar. So, bottom of the line, man, like you should do that, man.
yeah.
It would make
Well,
sense.
we
It would
love
make
Let's
sense.
make it
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, make that happen. But now, and there's a lot going on where you detail a lot.
Right.
Yeah, and you speak on Down on My Luck is going crazy. Like Europe loves it, and it's a big joint. But you on in a good space.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you said you're coming down from your addict phase, right? Would you, in hindsight, would you call it an addict phase?
I was definitely an addict. You know what I mean? I don't think it is even a was thing. It's like when you an addict, you're an addict. You know what I mean? You might be in remission, or you might be like sober, you know what I'm saying? But somebody that has been there will always understand what it is to be there. You know what I mean? As far as being an addict. And yeah, that's something that I've been through, you know what I'm saying, that just exists in my life. I do remember that, man. It was like, you know, the shit's going crazy. I'm eating paella on the motherfucking roof in Spain. And it's like, you know, to put some things in perspective, it's like literally shit was just coming full circle for me. So I fell off that bridge when I was 17, right? That whole thing was basically over this Spanish foreign exchange student, this girl, who had come to the South Side with me. And then, you know, some weird shit happened. I ran into some kids I knew and found out that they was all shaking in the alley, and they told me that one of my homies had drowned the night before in Lake Michigan. And so my mind was all fucked up, and I go back downtown, and you know, I just made a stupid ass decision and like try to sneak in this shit and climb over because I'm not in the right state of mind, you know. But it was really over the girl because I sent her in there and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna come over there and I'll see you in 20 minutes. You know what I mean? And I start freaking out. She ain't had no phone. She ain't speak English. So at that point in time, I'm talking about, you know, when down on my luck is going crazy. I remember I was in Ibiza with Duke Dumont.
I know Duke Dumont, yeah.
Yeah.
Duke
You know what I mean?
Dumont, he does stuff with...
Super dope.
That's the stuff that he's talking about, not the Waka
Oh,
Flocka.
wow.
Duke Dumont, yeah.
That is what I'm talking about.
I'm telling you niggas. That's not the same thing.
How'd you got that one?
But that wasn't the only type of thing I was doing in that
So
space.
now it's a half tap.
Yeah,
So
it'd
it
be-
half.
Hey, man.
it's just like whatever. Electronic music is a lot. There's a lot of kinds of electronic music and shit, but you know, yeah, man, shit was like full circle. It was like, man, I had never seen her again after that. you know, now I got some money. I'm like, oh, I'm in Spain. Look, I'll just fly you and your friend to Ibiza. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm living a good life for a 21-year-old or whatever. But I'm so caught up in the drugs that it's like I'm just not happy, you know. And I remember this girl. It was so deep what she said. It was like, I'm taking her back to the airport. I'm finna get up out of there. I'm in paradise. I'm in Ibiza and shit. But I'm like, you know, sedated and numbed out. And she said, Vic, I want to see you smile with your eyes. And I'm like, damn, you could tell my eyes is not smiling right now. You know?
Your eyes was vacant.
It was empty. Empty, you know what I mean? I'm walking barefoot on the goddamn beach, you know, in Spain, in paradise, but I'm just not happy.
How old is she at that time?
That's deep for, like, yeah.
She was my age, yeah.
Imagine it. Damn.
She's deep though. Shout out to Paulie.
Shout out to Paulie.
Mad love for Paulie. Yeah, you know, I was doing all that, and you know, a lot of shit was happening, but I was fucked up though. You know what I'm saying? And so then, you know, I do a deal and I start to get more money, and you know what I mean, and then I get like famous, and I was still in a fucked up place, you know. So it's like having more money and all that shit only heightened the you know, the things I was going through, because I got more access to act more crazy. You know what I mean? But it was fun though.
It sounds like it was.
Was it still just the shrooms at that time?
Nah.
Perks.
You know, I never really got into the perks, man, but I would just go from one drug to another, you know what I mean? So it's like when one drug stopped working, you know what I mean? I would stop doing that, and then, you know,
try this out.
Because the shroom stopped working, you know. I was only having bad trips.
With drugs, you chase your
I
first
started to only have bad trips and chasing the first high. So then I started doing Molly, and I'm like, oh, this shit is crazy, you know what I mean? So now I'm, you know, depending on that, and I'm chasing that first high on that. But that's starting, so I start snorting this, I start popping that, you know what I mean? Just one after the other, you know what I mean?
Damn.
So what would you pin the root to that? Was it like, is it an escape, or was it to, like, you know, turn up more? You know what I mean? What's it there? Let me try these shrooms.
Definitely a lot of escapism. I think that for me, you know what I mean, drug abuse and just addiction is definitely a lot of escapism. You know, just a fundamental feeling of not enoughness. You know what I mean? That as I've traced it, the first point that I can find to be like a genesis of that is probably having a white mom, black dad, not feeling like I was enough of either one.
Yeah, and also your dad also coming from...
Is that what that tattoo's about?
From Ghana as well.
Yeah, I got this tattoo because I had went and like did some ayahuasca and had like a deep feeling of like being enough, and so I went home and I like had a tattoo gun and I put it on my wrist. You know what I mean?
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, because you also speak about the identity frustration on the joint with St. John. I forget the title.
Too honest.
Yeah, Too Honest.
I like that when you know that song really reminds me of some internet tape shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the way I was rapping there, and it's like
that whole tape, the whole V tape.
Like, I think Victory as well.
On the I tape.
You know what
I mean? Yeah. That's different from internet tape, because that's like that Victory. That's a heightened level of bars. Now, internet tape was high level bars, but it was like it was not in a classic type of flow like that. You know what I mean? The Victory flow is like
even the beats.
It's like, you know what I mean? That beat. It's like a you know what I mean? Like
a sample,
like a Hove type flow, like some you know what I mean? Internet tape is just like you know what I mean?
Just
like
wild. It was like
just no rhyme or reason. You know what I mean? Like
creative, bro.
Like the flows ain't got no beginning or end. You know what I mean? But it reminded me though, that song with St. John, Too Honest, that reminded me of some internet tape shit, just in the way that it was like so emotionally expressive and honest. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the way that the flows is just like kind of, you know, not following a set pattern. And it's another one of those joints that's like over a beat that I made. You know what I mean? I think when I rap on my own beats, I kind of, the flows be oftentimes kind of just different and weird because I make beats on weird loops. You know what I mean? The way I made that beat, for Too Honest, was I recorded Francis of Francis and the Lights.
Shout out to Francis and the Lights. That's
I recorded Francis doing he did an interlude on my rock album, 93 Punks. And so he did an interlude on there that we put some strings over it. And then I sampled it, reversed it, and chopped it up. So it's like, you know what I mean? And that's all I had was that loop. And I woke up one day, I was like steady hearing that loop in my head. I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna go to the studio and fuck with that one today, you know? And then I did that song. But different from internet, I wasn't like high as hell, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that joint, man. So yeah. So now back on, for me, the EP.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. That it was like a rebirth of Vic for me. Even that song, like even the way you
song is
like,
crazy.
Dog, that song is the video even was like so simple, but it said so much. You know what I mean? But then you also mentioned something there when you're talking about you getting into the writing group or the writing team for Kanye. Yeah. Like, and also it's like it's twofold. I want to know like how that happened, how that feel, but also the somewhat tug of war. Cause even from the public perspective, I was looking at it, I was like, yo, man, damn, this dude, he's about to sign to Hov, but if it looked like, from outsider's perspective, it looked like Ye was up on you before Hov.
Yeah, you know, what's crazy is that I actually knew Hov first. I was already in communication, like conversation with Hov and them before I, you know, started running around with Kanye. But I don't think Ye actually knew that. So that shit got a little weird, and then I fucking put it all in the song, you know.
What?
And the niggas like,
so that made it even more weird.
It's like,
that's how you feel?
Like, what's up with that? You know, but you know, at that point in time, I never had no understanding of sometimes things are better left unsaid. You know what I mean? I felt at that point in time in my life like if it was true, then I am fully justified. I should say it. You know what I mean? I felt like, you know, what I'm doing here is I'm telling my truths, right? You know?
Yeah.
That's what I do this for pretty much. So if something is true, I should 1,000%, I should say it, you know? And there can be nothing wrong with me actually saying it. So I used to get in trouble with my girlfriends because I'd be literally saying in songs, I'd be like, I ran into my ex in Miami and I fucked her last night. You know what I mean? And my girl be in the what? You know what I mean? No, nigga, it was this deep that, you know, I had a lyric just like that. And it was so deep, and I loved the song. It was a song that never came out, but it was so deep that I recorded a whole different version, like just where I punched in a different lyric where I didn't snitch on myself, you know, just so I could listen to it around my girlfriend, you know. Yeah. But even so, one night I go into the room, you know, into the other room. I can't sleep. I go into the other room, and I'm like, I'm listening to the song, and then I just, you know, sense somebody behind me. And then the lyric is coming up, so I reached to try to, she put her arm on. She was like, "Let it play." I was like, "Ooh, why'd I do this?" You don't have to tell every goddamn truth, nigga. Like, you literally don't have to say everything just because it's true. You know what I mean? But I had to come to learn that because it's like, I got burned a lot of times through doing that, through telling the motherfucking truth that didn't need to be told. You know what I mean? Like,
damn.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that did weigh on your relationship.
Yeah, did that particularly help? No, but did it like, is that the, a huge event? I also would say no. You know what I'm saying? But how did that happen? Like me writing with Ye through Omas from Sarah. You know what I mean? Omas played Ye a song that me and Michael Uzawuru had did.
Michael Uzawuru.
Yes, nigga. Just y'all be over here really knowing some shit.
That's my shit.
That's proper his world.
Yeah. So
the rap world, I'm heavy on the rap world.
Uzi's my boy. I ain't seen him in a while, but we really like, we made a lot of music and was just like close. You know what I mean? And so Omas played Kanye some music that I don't think ever came out with me singing on one of his tracks. And so that's how Kanye reached out to me. And then I I go over there and we do like Wolves. I think the first day I go over there. And then, we just kind of vibing on records and, I'm throwing out lines and freestyling and I'm just good at that. You know what I'm saying? So Kanye was like, "Shit, nigga, well, we ain't done with the song yet. We finna go to Paris tomorrow. What's up?" You know what I mean? I'm like, "Come on." You know what I mean? And so that's pretty much how that came together.
That was a lit time, bro. Because when Wolves came out, beautiful.
Oh, you still with the timeline?
Oh, you want to jump?
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, because we here. I mean, like, I just want to understand, what's your deal with Roc Nation like? Because I don't feel like since you've gotten to Roc Nation, like the way we'd expect Roc Nation to put you out there, you've done that yet. So I don't know if I'm putting it, like, how, like the big album that you put out on a label like Roc Nation and stuff. So what's your deal out there? Like, are you still with Roc Nation?
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Anne-Marie and Tata and all them guys. You know what I mean? I got a lot of love from, I fuck with Roc Nation.
Shout out to Roc Nation.
Fuck with Roc Nation as a label because in a lot of situations, it's like they've let me cook. You know what I mean? They ain't like been like, "Oh, you gotta make this kind of music or you can't make that kind of music." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've let me create. You know what I'm
You
saying?
did mention one line. I think it was the Yachty line.
That was just niggas trying to give me good advice. That didn't make no sense. But was it in my mind true? You know what I mean? But that didn't make no sense. I was literally just going to diss and did, diss a whole person because it rhymed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For no other reason than it rhymed.
Yeah.
Dog.
For the sake of the rhyme scheme.
Because it fucking rhymed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Hey, he wore it, man. Shout out to Yachty, man. Shit, man. He was like a poster boy for like anything.
He took it on the chin nicely, though.
Negative hip hop. He took a lot.
Because it fucking rhymed. You know what I mean?
But that was lit, man. And then again, when you're talking about things that you say that sometimes do get you in some weird books or hot water, so to say, for lack of a better term, then there's the BET cypher. And then there's the line towards rest in peace, XXXTentacions, XXXTentacions.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And that was like it was a big conversation point that I think you even had to address yourself, like afterwards. I think you even issued somewhat of an apology for that.
Up to the moms.
What I said was not an apology. I have since apologized, but at that point in time, what I said was like, I was sitting there like this. You know what I mean? Literally with two fists stacked on top of each other like. Remember what I said, but you can't apologize with your two fists stacked on top of each other. You can't apologize like that.
Yeah.
You know, another situation of feeling like because something is true, it should be said. You know what I mean? And I definitely learned from that situation, from that scenario, just like, not all truths need to be told. And timing is also, you know what I mean? Timing is so important. And delivery, you know what I mean? If my point there was less about him, you know, and much more about the extreme normalization of violence against women in hip hop. You know what I mean? And how okay with that shit hip hop at large is. You know what I mean? It's like, you ain't never gonna really deal with, I dealt with more for being like, this what niggas is on, you know, than a motherfucker will deal with for a documented, you know, rape. You know what I mean? Real shit. Facts. You ain't gonna pay for it. You know what I mean? How I pay for it talking about it. If you out here raping, you know what I mean? But my delivery made it so that my message, my point was completely lost. You know what I mean? Because it's like, because I offended and I hurt so many people that, you know, had a right to be hurt because they loved this kid. You know what I mean? And I think coming from where I'm from, it's like I was influenced incorrectly, you know what I mean, by, I would say by my environment, not to like pass the fucking blame off, but you know, it's like, I'm from Chicago, so we got a toxic culture as it pertains to death and you know what I mean, murder. Man, that shit is funny to us. Not, you know, say right now I'm ha ha ha, but it's like, man, niggas laugh every goddamn day about motherfuckers dying. You know what I mean? They'd be like, oh, your homie died, fuck your homie, he dead, ha 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 ha. No, for real, it's like, and you know, just growing up a little bit more, it's like the more I come to realize shit that's normal to me, shit that's normal to us in Chicago, our normal is not at all normal. You know what I mean? Like a Chicago normal is not normal globally. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even expecting it's gonna be the biggest motherfucking deal because I'm like, literally in Chicago, motherfuckers is like, you know, talking shit about dead people all day long. You know what I'm saying? In all the songs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just, you know, I missed the mark with my delivery, you know what I mean? To the point where it's like my point was lost in all the, you know, in all the drama, you know, like Hove said something, you know, good to me about that just made me like kind of understand. You know, he was like, you caught up on being right, you know what I mean? But would you rather be right or in the loving, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you could be right, technically, you know what I'm saying? But is it always worth it? It's like when you arguing, you know what I mean, with your girl or something, like, nigga, is it really worth it to be to be right like that? Does it, you know what I mean? Was it worth, you know what I mean, all the shit that came along with it for me? Of course it wasn't, you know, but everything's a learning experience. But, you know, that shit was hectic. It was like niggas fucking trying to kill me. Like that shit turned into real shit in the streets, you know, with niggas saying they got money on my head, and so then I gotta come get my niggas involved and send them down there. And shit got super ugly. And I'm sleeping
down to Miami. Oh.
Yeah, man. What the fuck? You know what I mean? But then niggas put my address online and my phone number. So I remember one night I'm like, I'm sleeping, you know. I'm sleeping on the couch. And I think I might have already knew they put my address online. Sleeping on the couch, and then, you know, I'm paranoid. I got my sister living with me. This stuff I'm talking about in like the Too Honest song. I got my sister living with me and I'm, you know, paranoid as shit. They put my address online, so I'm sleeping there. I got a pistol on me, damn near in my hand. You know what I mean? I'm like sleeping with the motherfucking pistol kind of pointed at the door. You know, I got big windows, like big ass mansion in LA. You can't miss it. You know what I mean? Then my phone starts blowing up in the middle of the night. I'm not knowing what's going on. I wake up, come to find out motherfuckers done put my phone number online. And so, yeah, I'm mad paranoid. You know, I caught another case. People didn't even know. I already had a gun case from like, There's a Lot Going On era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But around that time, I'm so paranoid that I'm always got a pistol on me. And I caught another case and I'm like, you know, you block your blessings with shit like that, you know, but I didn't really realize that, you know. I was like, I'm telling the truth. I'm crusading for the truth. You know what I mean? Like, no, this message needs to be heard. You know, this message. And does that message need to be heard? Yes.
Definitely, yeah.
Are there better ways for it to be heard than that way?
Yeah.
Or do they have to hear it now?
They always have to hear the
just
message.
you gotta hear it this way.
Yeah.
They can get that message, and you know what's happened can be left over there. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, but you live and you learn. You know, it's kind of like, I think about it sometimes, and it's like, you know, I've been doing music a long time, and I've been a lot of places. And so it's like, I've been in different phases in my life and different stages. Sometimes it barely dawns on me that like, yo, Jay-Z was like still just just dropping his first album when he's my age now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm learning that lesson, and it's like, it's like, cause I've been rapping a long time. But you know, I'm like 24 when that shit happens, or, you know what I mean, 24, 25.
Jay,
Yeah.
I was 26.
No.
No, he's talking about when
okay.
this shit was happening to
Yeah,
him.
I'm like 24 when that shit happened. It's like, it's not the latest time or the earliest time to learn how to use your words wisely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, shit, niggas be 40 years old, still funding they whole move, losing they whole job or some shit. You know what I mean? Fucking themselves over in a hole on Twitter or on Instagram off of something they said. And I just had to learn that motherfucking lesson. You know what I mean?
Man.
Damn.
Now, okay, doubling, just going back to what you said about you growing up in a different era or different, you know, environment where some things are okay, not even okay, but you guys, you know, you have dark humor.
Some things
You
are
know,
normal.
or you're desensitized. You know what I mean?
That's really what's going on. Both of those things, but really desensitized.
Desensitized. You know what I mean? And it's like maybe it's like also like a family situation, because when academic shit happened, you know what I mean, you had promised or wanted to give him hands for somewhat joking on death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's it's completely what's the word there? Hypocritical.
Yeah.
I want to know because
I didn't
there's
want to
two
say
ways.
it
There's
'cause I was
definitely
like-
it's two ways to because there's two ways to look at
Academics
it.
make fun of?
It was the Chirac. He was doing.
Oh yeah, with the
It's,
medals.
it's definitely hypocritical. It's like if my nigga dies, you better not make no jokes, nigga.
We can joke about it.
Like, we can joke about your nigga, but if my nigga, you know, that's what I'm saying. But all the shit I'm talking about is a hypocritical ideology. You know what I'm saying? There's another word that I'm looking for that's not coming to me. Contradictory.
Contradictory. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a contradictory ideology that we hold. You know what I'm saying? All the ideas of all the extreme violence and, you know what I mean, like fixation with, you know, these things in Chicago. It's like, Yeah, it's largely contradictory. And I was very mad, and rightfully so. That's why I could understand, why they were mad when I brought up they homie. You know what I mean? In my mind at the time, would I have been like, my homie didn't do this, didn't do that, But also, my homie was in the streets, you know what I mean? He wasn't no perfect person, you know what I mean? And that whole academic shit, that shit definitely, that shit hurt us, you know what I mean? It's just like to learn about somebody that you've known since you was 5 years old, learn about them being killed with a motherfucker making it into like some fan fiction, on YouTube. And he came into contact with the Chicago Grim Reaper, and you know what happens when you do that, this dumbass, things like that. I mean, Academics was making jokes about 5-year-old kids getting killed. He called a 5-year-old kid getting killed a shorty pack. He said they smoking on a shorty pack. I'm like, damn, Damn. But like I said, man, it's like process of just of unlearning a lot of things that we take as law, as being identification of our manhood, etc. It's like violence and gangbang, all that shit. You know what I mean? It's like these are the things that we just learn, and people might see me, see Chance and our guys and think about think about kids these days, think about internet tape and fun fucking music, and be like, there are these two completely different sides of Chicago. They would put us here and they'd be like, this is the positive stuff. And they'd be like Chief Keef and all them,
Shout out to Chief Keef.
Drill.
Big shout out.
Oh, snap.
Oh, my bad.
Right.
All
right. Oh, damn.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yo, that's sobering.
We just used to going on and on.
We go on, yo. So sorry, man. Okay, cool. I think we lost the train.
Shout out to Chief Keef.
We shouted out.
Shout out Chief Keef.
Yeah, with the part you were talking about, the positive side and the negative side.
Yeah.
Well, not negative, but yeah.
But that's the way that it'd be portrayed, or people would look at it, be like, you got this positive side, you got this negative side.
Yeah.
And in reality, it's like we actually end up, it's just different sides of the same coin. You know what I mean? Different blocks of the same city. Now some people's experiences have been very different. And when I was doing the internet taping, kids these days, I used to feel like, man, I never need to, be involved in this or that. It'd be like feeling like I gotta have a gun to walk down the street, and then, fast forward a little bit and, I have things that people don't have around me. And I start to find myself as a target, and things happen, loyalties that I have get exploited, and, I find myself in them same situations, you know what I mean? Like, I find myself in them same situations doing the same things that if it had gone a different way, I could be locked up right now. I could be doing 20 years, you know what I mean? Yeah. If I had, went down for it, you know what I mean? And so it's like, whether you're me or you're on that side of things, it's like, I think we all got a process of growing out of some of the just backwards thought processes that we learn from our city and shit.
Yeah. What side of Chicago are you from?
Southside.
From the south side.
Exactly.
I know it is there because I thought maybe it's just there because Chance and them are from the west, no?
No. He from the south side too. He from a place called Chatham. But specifically, I'm from a neighborhood called Hyde Park. So Hyde Park is a nice neighborhood. You know what I mean? Okay. It's it's not like Hyde Park here.
Yeah.
It's not like Hyde Park here. But it's like in the middle of many different hoods. So it's like where I live, or where I grew up, you know, across the street from like Section 8 houses, which probably would be like the equivalent of like y'all flats. You know what I mean? Down the street from the projects, you know what I mean, where it's cracking. But then also right down the street from Obama's house. You know what I mean? So I'm
Central.
I'm right in the middle of it. So it's like, you know, I understand this, but I'm also so close to this that inevitably, just by being outside, I'm gonna end up in some of that shit.
What's that famous one where D-Rose is from? Fuck, man.
D-Rose went to Simeon. He might be from Inglewood.
Yeah, that's the joint. Yeah.
That's where Keith and Dirk
Keith
and all them
that's
is
how I know
from.
that joint,
Shout out.
yeah.
From Inglewood.
I love Dirk, man. Damn.
Got
Sorry.
to.
That's the 50 Cent intro. Get rid of it.
Well, the outro in this instance.
Yeah, I mean, yo, man. I know you got
There's so much.
There's a lot, man. Because I want to talk Save Money, and shout out to Save Money and
Yeah, we all been, you know what I mean? We've been in the studio. We've been in the lab. Like, Chance has a studio house right now. You know what I'm saying? So we actually, I need to call him. We actually just did some content. He's on his director shit. You know what I mean? So we just filmed we did a short film of an acoustic version of a song me and him just released called Shelter. That's coming out. We working on some like collaborative shit. You know what I mean? And Save Money, all the guys working.
yo, man.
dope.
Because I
It's dope
won't
to
lie,
see.
bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to
The positions
Joey
always change about who's my favorite. Save Money. Right now, Joey Purp is in the lead.
I like that. We gotta get him out here, man.
Bro, that dude's so hard. But yo, man, Vic, thank you.
Thank you very much
for coming
yo.
through. I mean, like, yo, as I said, it would be a lot to talk about. We'll be here all day because for somebody that's so young, yo, man, your history is mad rich. And there's still so much that you about to do from a media space. You know what I mean? I know the acting's also about to
pop off.
Pop off, you know what I mean?
Yeah, been doing
Yeah,
that.
I mean, like, I also even wanted to ask, like, because the Spike Lee thing, then there was a rift at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's been mended.
No, I mean, I ain't caught up on that shit no more.
Yeah.
That was some bullshit, you know what I mean? But Spike is a legend, man. You know what I mean? That was a terrible movie.
Yeah.
It's just a bad idea. You know, a bad premise. Poorly executed. That can't at all take away from, you know, his
legacy.
his body of work as
Yeah,
just like probably the greatest Black American director. You know what I mean? Like,
You know? But yo, man, more acting, more music. Thank you for coming through to the Sobering. You know,
man.
It's been a vibe, man.
appreciate y'all,
You know what I
man.
mean? And shout out to Practice, Nadia, featuring Vic Mensa. Get the joints.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, man. Come on.
Shout out to
gang.
my moms, yo.
Shout out to his moms.
Yeah.